Think pancakes are off limits with diabetes? Not anymore. With just a few simple swaps, you can make a delicious, blood sugar-friendly version in under 10 minutes. It flattens your glucose and keeps you full for hours. Let me show you how this breakfast favorite just became a blood sugar fix. When you look closely at what goes into a standard pancake, the problem starts to make sense. They're usually built on white flour, a little sugar in the batter, and then layered with syrup or other sweet toppings on the plate. Together, that combination is digested quickly, sending a rush of glucose into your bloodstream almost all at once. Refined white flour is high on the glycemic index and is one of the main reasons pancakes cause fast blood sugar spikes. That surge may feel fine at first, but it doesn't last long before the crash hits. Think of a typical morning. You eat breakfast at 8 a.m. and feel energized for about an hour. Then by mid-morning, your body is already signaling hunger, your focus is drifting, and you're tempted to grab another snack or pour an extra cup of coffee. That quick rise and fall isn't just about losing energy, it also affects mood and concentration, making it harder to stay on track with your day. Many people don't realize these swings are directly tied to how their breakfast is digested. Here's why it happens on a biological level. White flour sits near the top of the glycemic index, meaning it raises blood sugar rapidly. When you add sugar or syrup into the mix, that spike becomes even higher. In response, your pancreas sends out a surge of insulin to clear that glucose from the blood. Soon after, levels dip sharply, leaving you feeling tired and craving more food. Repeated patterns of rapid glucose spikes and falls make blood sugar harder to manage over time and can contribute to insulin resistance, particularly in people already at risk for diabetes. Comparing flours side by side shows the difference clearly. White flour is among the fastest to absorb, while whole wheat flour contains more fiber, helping to slow things down slightly. But even with whole wheat, pancakes can still cause noticeable spikes, just at a somewhat slower pace. For someone with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, that distinction matters because keeping glucose levels steady isn't just about avoiding the mid-morning crash, it's also about reducing strain on the body over months and years. And then there's the issue of toppings. A standard serving of pancake syrup often contains as much sugar as a soda, layering another round of glucose onto an already high-carb base. Add in extras like fruit preserves, chocolate chips, or whipped cream, and the spike becomes even more intense. Without fiber, protein, or healthy fats in the meal to slow down absorption, those pancakes set you up for a fast rise and an equally fast fall, hardly the foundation for a steady morning. But what if we swap the flour? Up next, a nut-based alternative that works with your body, not against it, turning pancakes into a breakfast that keeps you full, steady, and satisfied for hours. What makes this new version of pancakes so effective comes down to two key ingredients working together: almond flour and flaxseed. These are not just substitutes for white flour, they change how your body responds to breakfast. Almond flour is the foundation. Made from finely ground almonds, it does more than simply act like flour in recipes. It has a very different nutritional profile from wheat flour. Almond flour is low in carbs, higher in protein, fiber, and magnesium than wheat flour, which helps slow glucose release and support steadier energy. Its fats and protein mean digestion takes longer, which reduces the sharp peaks and steep drops linked to refined white flour. Clinical work shows almonds at breakfast can lower both the immediate blood glucose rise and the response at a later meal, an effect we'll talk more about in just a moment. This makes almond flour not just a gluten-free option, but a genuinely useful tool for blood sugar management. That said, almond flour alone isn't the whole solution. The second piece is ground flaxseed. Its soluble fiber slows digestion and helps extend satiety. Whole seeds often pass through undigested, and flaxseed oil lacks the fiber that gives this benefit. Inside the body, that soluble fiber forms a gentle gel-like effect, delaying carbohydrate breakdown and releasing glucose gradually. The benefit isn't confined to breakfast either. Researchers refer to the second meal effect, where flax at one meal can improve glucose stability at the next. Combined with increased fullness, it makes flax a small change with significant impact. For someone trying to manage diabetes or prediabetes, this effect is practical. A steady breakfast that extends hunger control makes the rest of the day easier. In studies, people who added flax to their meals reported reduced cravings and better post-meal insulin responses. That means less temptation to grab high-sugar snacks and a smoother transition between meals. Note: flaxseed can lower blood sugar and may interact with some medicines. If you take blood pressure, blood thinning, or diabetes drugs, check with your clinician to make sure it's right for you. When you combine almond flour and flaxseed, the result is more than nutritional. The texture of the pancake also changes. Instead of something dense or overly heavy, when combined right, almond flour and flax create a tender, slightly nutty pancake that many viewers prefer to traditional versions. These are not pancakes that leave you sluggish an hour later. They're higher in protein, rich in fiber, powered by healthy fats, and designed to work with your body instead of against it. And the real game changer? Adding a quick protein boost. Wait until you hear this simple swap. The most effective option isn't a powder or supplement, but a food you probably already have in your fridge: cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. These aren't just sides for fruit or toppings for savory dishes. Blended into pancake batter, they completely change the meal's nutrition without making the flavor obviously dairy. The texture becomes more tender and moist, but the main advantage is the significant protein boost. High-protein pancake variations that combine cottage cheese or Greek yogurt with eggs typically provide around 15 to 20 grams of protein per serving, 4 times higher than boxed pancake mixes. That alone shifts pancakes from being a fast carb hit to a balanced breakfast that supports steadier blood sugar. Most people don't expect cottage cheese or yogurt to vanish in the batter, but that's exactly what happens. The pancakes taste nutty from the almond flour and slightly earthy from the flaxseed, while the dairy proteins silently increase structure and staying power. Where traditional pancakes leave you hungry an hour later, these keep you satisfied much longer. That extra stretch of satiety is why higher protein breakfasts consistently outperform carb-only meals in diabetes management studies. Protein slows digestion, partners with fiber to reduce glucose swings, and cuts the mid-morning cravings many people struggle with. Convenience still matters. A blender makes the process faster while giving a consistent, smooth batter. Instead of whisking dry and wet ingredients in separate bowls, you can first add the wet ingredients, eggs, cottage cheese or yogurt, and a splash of milk or milk alternative, then pulse until smooth. After that, tip in the jar of pre-mixed dry ingredients, almond flour, ground flax, baking powder, and cinnamon, and blend once more just until combined. This takes about 10 to 30 seconds depending on your blender. Stop, scrape down the sides, and the batter is ready to pour. Cooking steps are simple but worth noting. Almond flour browns faster than wheat flour, so keep the heat at medium-low. Allow the edges to set before flipping to avoid breaking the pancakes. Each side usually needs 2 to 3 minutes. With preheating included, a single batch takes most people 8 to 12 minutes from blender to plate. Cooking multiple rounds will take a bit longer, which is normal for pancakes. The trade-off is a breakfast that's both fast and nutritionally designed for blood sugar control. There are also ways to save time across the week. You can pre-mix jars of dry ingredients so the blender step takes less than 2 minutes in the morning. Cooked pancakes store well in the fridge for 2 to 3 days, or you can freeze individual pancakes in a flat layer and reheat them in the toaster or a skillet. That means you can batch cook once, then reheat for days, keeping the same steady energy meal without extra time spent every morning. And now you've got a breakfast that keeps blood sugar steady. But what if you could shut down spikes before they start with just 2 spicy ingredients? They work fast, and the science behind them is shocking. Tap the video on screen now.